Hi, guys. Welcome to Double Shot of Steelers. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports. I cover the Steelers like for a living for our website and for our app. Hope you check that out. Chris Halleck also covers the Steelers for our website and our app. He'll be joining us here shortly. We're going to talk about some fun stuff exactly 1 week out from reporting date for training camp. And the fun stuff is going to be, it's going to feel a little bit like this. I don't want you to take it too literally. This team, if it were to add, stick with me on this because it's a hypothetical and it's not the result of any actual, information or whatever. Justin Simmons at the free safety position, and he's still out there. And he is, yes, he's a name. Yes, he's on the wrong side of 30. Yes, he was down a little bit last season in Atlanta, not precipitously so. But yes, also, he's a guy who was the guy at this position in Denver for a long time. Good player. Really good player. And what you'd be asking him to do, if you think about it, is the old, from 2024, Minkah Fitzpatrick role. And that means standing back there in center field and just basically playing the police, for lack of a better term. You're waiting for something to go wrong, and then you're responding accordingly. That's what the police do. If you were to bring in Simmons to do that, and you would have, oh my goodness, think about the composition of this roster. Think about the number of guys who would be on that side of 30, or in some cases on that distance side of that 30 or even 40 when it's talking about the quarterback. And you push all of this into the same mix. There is only one collective thought that can cross that collective mind, and that's Super Bowl or bust. It's going for it now. So if you look at the words that I have here on the side here, the Tampa style, I'm not referring to the defense. Okay. I'm referring to Tom Brady and Leonard Fournette and all these 30-something guys who were something else somewhere else, or in Brady's case, a lot of something else somewhere else. And they all got together and they looked around and they said, hey, as long as we're all here, why don't we just go for it? Then they went for it. And then they got it. I don't want to say that free safety is some sort of weak spot, because a healthy Juan Thornhill is still a pretty nice player. He's not great. He's not whatever. And his biggest issue in his 2 years in Cleveland by far was that he wasn't available. But, if you're doing all this, and if you're looking at FS1 as a whole or a semi-whole, and you're looking at WR2 as a whole or a semi-whole, then why not just fill them both? Why not just go ahead and get that done? Plug the holes, bring in a couple more guys who are in that spirit. You don't have to commit to any sort of long-term contracts that hurt your salary cap into the future. You don't have to forfeit any future assets, something that we've been talking about a lot, which is where this really kind of differs from what Tampa Bay management did, and very much differs from what happened in Los Angeles with the Rams. Very, very different. Justin Watson says, what helped those Tampa teams over the top was one of the best wide receiver rooms I've ever seen. Yes, they had some dudes, okay? And they ended up adding one particular dude, very familiar to fans around here, and it made a huge difference. That's what you did. So if you're the Steelers, again, just go ahead and get yourself some WR2, because now you're operating with multiple wide receivers, and they're not what Justin is describing here, but DK Metcalf, a really good WR2, like a legit WR2. And then Calvin Austin, Roman Wilson, still some room for growth and ceiling there. That's That's what you're doing there. You know, Charlie says, wouldn't you want a TJ contract first for the extra cap room? Stop worrying about TJ. Yeah. Like, I can't bring up anything here with somebody worrying about TJ. TJ's not going anywhere. And for anybody who doesn't know, when TJ signs, and this is what Charlie's getting at here, the Steelers actually open up cap room. I don't think these are expensive signings. I don't think Simmons is going to be an expensive signing wherever he signs. I really don't. I don't know if WR2 is going to be an expensive signing wherever he signs. Michael Cross says, well, yeah, Brady also had Gronk that he used a lot over the middle. All right, he had an older Gronk. He had an older AB. Okay, he had an older Mike Evans. If you'll recall the teams that they had and who these guys were, they could still play. They had enough for one more good, hard year, and they came through. So Brady had an older Gronk. Well, Aaron Rodgers, who's older, has himself, and in his prime, Jonnu Smith, and in his prime, Pat Freiermuth, and in his prime, Darnell Washington. Actually, Darnell's not even at his prime yet. Just something to think about here. When we come back, we're going to talk with Chris Halleck about this subject. Really looking forward to hearing what he has to say on this.
At DK Pittsburgh Sports, we take pride in coverage that connects our city's fans to their favorite teams. Now, that connection's stronger than ever. Introducing our all-new state-of-the-art app. Find expert inside reporting and original podcasts. Check live box scores. Track the latest stats. Chat it up with our community of thousands of fans, all in one place. The new app from DK Pittsburgh Sports. Coverage that connects.
Yeah, Damian Elswick says, I'm beginning to think that this team may have the horses to do it if the offensive line comes together. This live episode of Double Shot of Steelers is brought to you by Dazzle Sports, a premier source for sports memorabilia. From the National Football League to Major League Baseball to everything in between, autographed memorabilia from your favorite athletes, including jerseys, photos, game-used items. You can also find cards, other collectibles. Show them some love, okay? They're part of the family now, and while you're doing that, get 20% off for yourself on your entire order. Just use the code DOUBLESHOT. Make it one word, double shot, at checkout. Go to www.dazzle-sports.com. Dazzle Sports isn't just a store. It's where sports memories come to life. Chris Halleck's with us. Hi, Chris. Back from Atlanta.
Back from Atlanta, back in the cold basement of my house in Westmoreland County.
Did you have fun at all? I know it was a lot of work.
It was a lot of work. Yesterday was a long day. So like I counted it up. I think it was like a 14.5-hour day yesterday.
It's one of those.
Yeah, but no, it's always fun. It's the MLB All-Star game. There's a lot of, there are always a couple of ooh-ah moments. One of them was when the flyover during the home run derby anthem was timed perfectly with the end of the anthem, and you just kind of look over and you're like, chills. Like, it just, yeah.
I've been under those, and every time you just go, how?
Yeah.
You know, I understand that's the least of what they do. Okay. Okay. I get that part, right?
Yeah.
They don't train to fly those things so that they can coordinate themselves over baseball parks.
Yeah.
But man, it's still so impressive. When I was in Seattle just now covering Pirates and Mariners, I was there on the 4th of July. So the Mariners had a flyover of a couple planes, a couple military. Well, I mean, it's aviation hub to say the least, the Pacific Northwest. And they came in like this, and it was just timed so beautifully in the flight path. And they ended up going out over the hill above downtown Seattle. Just gorgeous. Gorgeous. But Paul Skeens and everything last night, fun?
It was good. I mean, shoot, man, they made him available like bottom of the third inning, so able to get the work.
It's all about the access. Like, when can we talk to him?
Yeah,
I need to write here. What's going on?
Well, because last year he didn't talk until the press conference after the game, which, this year's game they went into not extra innings but to that swing off home run derby to decide the score or decide the winner. So and like the game didn't even end until after midnight. So yeah, it was, but it was fun. It's always a good time. It's always a lot of work, but it's always it is its own little 4-day beast.
It really is, and it's all consuming in that time. There's all kinds of availabilities and access points. People don't think about it. They go, oh yeah, Chris is going to cover the All-Star game. What they don't tell you is that Chris was sitting in meetings yesterday with Major League Baseball Commissioner Rob Manfred and the MLBPA's chief executive Tony Clark, because he's getting stuff about the future salary cap that they're going to have in baseball within a couple of years, which affects Pittsburgh sports fans every bit as much as every pitch that Paul Skeens threw. So really good stuff down there, by the way. I know I've said this to you in private, but for everybody who's read it here, there was really, really solid, detailed on the scene location there, coverage from you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Ask me what I was doing before we got on.
What were you doing before I got on?
Funny that you ask, Alec. The NHL's excremental schedule came out this afternoon. Look up excremental. I'm not going to translate it for anybody.
I got a quick little view of it, and seeing some of the Slack messages from Taylor as well, I was like, this is
she's enjoying it. She's enjoying it a little bit too much at my expense. Let's just say that the Penguins' annual game in Winnipeg is on a Saturday, and that it is the day before the Steelers play at home against the Colts. And let's just say that the airlines are about to meet their logistical match. I was this close, Chris, and then it was time to come on.
Yeah.
I had the first 2 legs nailed. All I need is to get from Winnipeg to Chicago really late Saturday night, and then from Chicago to Pittsburgh first thing Sunday. I am telling you, I'm pulling this off. I am pulling this off. I'm not picking one or the other. I'm doing both. I just am. We're going to get this done. I want to ask you about this question that or this concept that I put forth about the Tampa Bay Bucks. The older guys, the 30-somethings, the bring everybody in. Remember that what that summer was like? And it was like, we have all these people. Hey, what about Leonard Fournette? Sure, come on in, man.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Sometimes when the Buccaneers are brought up, and this just goes to show my age, I immediately go to the 2002 Buccaneers, because that was like one of the greatest defenses of all time. And
sure.
So but now obviously the Tom Brady Buccaneers that ended up winning it all. Yeah, I do remember that now. Okay. Continue.
So they bring all these guys in, and there was just instantly this mindset. Well, look what we're doing here. Look at Brady. Look at these receivers. Gronk shows up.
Yeah.
Okay. AB is there. Mike Evans was already there. A lot of older guys, and they understood what they were doing. They understood the mission. It was going to be that season, or wow, no way there was going to be another one.
Yeah.
So it was actually a little bit different than the Rams. The Rams were going for broke in a different way. They just sold off all their future assets, and they just didn't care what was going to happen for the next 10 years. They were going to win a Super Bowl no matter what. And to their credit, they followed through and took care of business against the Bengals.
Yeah.
When you're looking at the Steelers right now, and I was throwing out the possibility that you add Justin Simmons to this. Simmons, correct me if I'm wrong here, or maybe you might not know this, but Simmons, I don't believe, has ever even been in a playoff game.
I don't think so.
I don't think
Broncos. So. He played for the Falcons last year.
Yeah.
The Broncos went a while without making the playoffs. I mean,
and I think I don't think he's ever even participated in a playoff game. And according to Simmons himself, he's waiting for an opportunity to do that. He's waiting for a chance with a contender here.
Yeah.
First question that I have for you before we get to anything else is Simmons still a guy? I know he's not what he was.
So, I need to do a little bit more digging on some of the metrics and some of the film. But some of the metrics that I've looked at it's definitely shown a drop off last year with the Falcons. Now, part of that could be being on the Falcons. You know, Falcons weren't a terrible team last year, but they also weren't a great team. So is part of that just being on the Falcons? Was it just not a good fit? I think when you look at Simmons, if you were to look at him pretty much the way that you are now looking at Juan Thornhill, I think it could work, because at the end of the day, the free safety is probably going to be the worst of the starting 11 on the defense. Like when you just look at
with Thornhill.
Yeah, I mean, but even if you were to
11
add
out of
Simmons,
11, yeah. Oh, okay. You think Simmons would be the 11th best player on that defense?
Probably. I mean, maybe you'd put him above, Derek Harmon or Keanu Benton. I wouldn't put him above any of the 3 starting corners. I wouldn't put him above Deshaun Elliott right now with the way Deshaun Elliott's arrow is pointing this way and Simmons is not. Patrick Queen.
Either way, it doesn't really matter all that much. If he's playing the center field that they had Minkah Fitzpatrick playing, then he'll be as relevant to that defense as you or I will.
Right.
Because we're just as close to the line of scrimmage.
Right. And maybe that's the reason why the Steelers haven't done that, because they don't view the free safety position as a central figure of how they defend the pass.
They have diminished this position. They really don't.
But
in that case, then why are we even talking about it? Why would I even bring up Simmons?
Well,
in that case,
I mean, if Juan Thornhill gets injured, which he did just have calf issues in Cleveland.
He did.
So it is it is a bit of a concern that what if he has another injury-plagued season? Well, that would be a problem, because then you're turning to who at free safety? And
Miles.
Yeah. I mean,
no, you are.
Yeah. I mean, so that's, to me, that's a problem. Miles Kilber is a phenomenal special teams player, but I don't want him playing.
He's not top of class when it comes to standard defense. I think that's fair and respectful to say.
Yeah, I don't want him playing more than the handful of snaps that he ends up playing actually on defense, and those are usually goal line situations where they bring in, they still have to have a certain number of defensive backs, but Miles Kilber is usually one of them because he can go up and he can make some tackles. You don't need a deep center field free safety when the opponent has the ball to 2-yard line.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I don't. That would be the only reason I would entertain that.
All right. So let's say this. Okay. Now we're done with Simmons here. If you're this group, okay, maybe just because of Aaron Rodgers, are you getting together and are you adopting this mindset? Not because people are talking about it or chatting you up in Latrobe or whatever, but do you actually have this mindset? Oh my God, we have to win now. If you're the players, I'm at the player level.
I mean, the players should have that urgency every single year. I mean,
every game, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they should have
let's
that.
Skip past what they should have.
Right. But I mean, no, I do think that when you see the moves the Steelers, I mean, listen, the Steelers, when you go at the starting 22 they had last year, I think 11 of them are gone.
Yeah.
They've made some serious changes. And at quarterback.
Well, it's starting 22. Because our mutual good friend Dale Lawley listed what he did. He looked back at last year in a recent article that he put on the Steelers.com. Dale works for the Steelers now.
Yeah.
And he put something up that said that the change was 11 from 22 from last year's opener.
Okay.
Yeah. My count that I did separately, that independent of that, was when you get to the number of players who are different from season's end, the number of default starters from season's end, that it was 9, which is still a lot.
It's still a lot. It's almost half. I mean, and it's not just changing, cornerback, which that's a pretty significant change when you go from not Levi Wallace. When you go from Dante Jackson to Darius Slay, that's a change. That's a pretty substantial change. But we're also talking about going from past his prime Russell Wilson to past his prime Aaron Rodgers, who is still only 4 years removed from an MVP award. So
it was 4 years from calling that an MVP season doesn't do it justice. Okay.
Yeah.
You want to find those stats and read them out loud?
Oh, I've seen them.
Commit the touchdown to interception ratio to memory. It was something like 48-3 or something. It was
like 48-5, I think is what it was.
48-5.
But that was 2020. 2021.
Yeah. I mean, he was still he was still all that. So yeah, if he can be 80% of that, but again, the real concern that you have with him and age isn't any of that. It's health.
Yeah, it's
health.
It is. And now that the final chalk talk, by the way, is literally rendering on my computer right now.
The final Aaron Rodgers one of all 17?
Yeah, all 17 games. And one of the things that I even said in there, spoiler alert,
hazard pays in the mail.
But like one of the things that, I could say, and I think I even put it this way, because why was Mason Rudolph so good for those 4 games, or at least the 3 final games of the regular season? That's because he did everything. He played very, very competent. He provided very competent quarterback play, which was supported very well by a good running game. I mean, the Steelers ran the ball very, very well during that time. And then Mason did everything that the quarterback needs to do from the pocket. He didn't have to do anything extraordinary. So if Aaron Rodgers can have that, if he can have a team that can run the ball, even middle of the pack, they don't have to be the top 5 or top 10 rushing offense. But if they can be 13th or 14th in overall efficiency, and they're still able to move the chains on a consistent basis, they're able to stay on schedule. If Aaron Rodgers can be the competent quarterback, but as he proved last year, for 2 or 3, maybe 4 times a game, dip your toe in the fountain of youth and all of a sudden be like, oh, that's the guy who won 4 MVPs.
Right.
You're not asking him to be that guy all the time. But if he can just be the competent guy for most of the game, and then just a handful of times throughout the game, be able to do something special, that's when you talk about this team and the reason why this change could mean so much is it could take the offense from being better than what it was last year to being like, oh, this could actually be a team that could actually put up points and go toe to toe with one of the top guys, because if the defense also does what they're supposed to do, then they're going to have a fighting chance pretty much every game.
Charlie says, I was watching a Chalk Talk video last night, and at one point Chris went blah, 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 and YouTube's closed captions labeled it as singing music. So YouTube, my goodness, you want to talk about how far AI has come in our civilization.
Oh, that's great.
YouTube understands that Chris has the graceful singing voice. So they just connected the two things. They put blah, blah, blah with little musical notes around them.
Oh, that's hilarious.
They could even have you singing blah, blah, blah to like the same tune as who sang Bye, Bye, Bye? Was that NSYNC or Backstreet Boys?
NSYNC,
okay.
Yeah.
Did I just betray myself on boy bands? Did I just do that? Did I just get caught with? Did I just get caught with my window down at the intersection?
That's fine.
Guilty pleasures.
Hey, this is not 1999 anymore, where if you're a boy, like that was like 7th, 8th, 9th grade for me. There was nothing more emasculating for an 8th grader at that time than if you got caught listening to a boy band.
Oh yeah.
It's
potentially fatal.
Right. So I think it's 2025. I've got so many different things in my Spotify right now that sometimes I will initially put it there for my kids because they enjoy it, but then
put it there for your kids.
No, but then
we just caught you with your window down at the intersection. We just did.
No, because then
send a message to the boys that it's okay to, be sensitive.
No, it's not okay to be sensitive.
Yes,
it's not okay to listen to. Well, it's not okay to admit to listen to the Backstreet.
Okay, that's it. This show is over.
She's ending the show prematurely.
I don't mind.
Okay, I might or might not have select pieces from both bands in my phone. Okay, but I want you to know that they're in there for the chord structure. Okay, because I value the way that whoever wrote these songs for those kids, because they didn't write them themselves. Whoever did that, here come all the microphone comments. I wish I could hear what she's saying. Where's her microphone?
Oh. Hi, how are you?
Greg points out, I took your hockey writer to multiple Jonas Brothers concerts, and yes, he did. Taylor's dad jumps in. What he's not saying is that she still patronizes Jonas Brothers concerts. And unless I missed something, didn't she go running down into the seats last year covering a Penguins game because she heard one of the Backstreet Boys was down there up against the glass?
It was NSYNC. It
NSYNC?
was one of the NSYNC guys. I think we even had his picture in our Penguins feed.
Man. That was
She's reporting. No, yeah, she was doing due diligence. She actually did put up an entry on our site on this, as if any of our readers would care about this. But she's down there like, this dude from NSYNC is here. She goes down there and interviews him, like middle of the game, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Giving new depth. Look, she's been rough on me today, so I'm bringing it back here. But giving new depth to the term fangirling, okay? Because that's exactly what that was.
It was coverage.
The grief I've gotten from her today. Oh, no, the Steelers are playing the Colts the day after the Winnipeg game. I'm going to have to go to Winnipeg, aren't I? She's not going to Winnipeg. You'll see. You'll see here. Where were we? This is all. You see, I sent an email complaining to the Penguins about the schedule. I'm not kidding. And they know me enough to take it seriously. I just wrote back, I hereby informally veto any NHL schedule that prevents me from going to Winnipeg. Where do I file the complaint? And the Penguins just emailed me back. Literally this second, I just got it. We will make sure that the commissioner knows for next season.
There he goes, Gary Bettman.
It doesn't matter. We're taking care of this.
That's that's the next step for Gary Bettman is to, he has now gone multiple CBA negotiations in terms of avoiding a work stoppage. The next step is to make sure that DK never misses Winnipeg again.
I can borrow Gary's private jet and solve all these problems if he can just leave it sitting there for me in the heart of Manitoba. Damian Ellswick says, being on the Fraser train, that's where we were. That's right, pal. That's right. And Jay Mood says, that's rad that her dad's here. Who uses rad still? Is rad a thing?
I don't personally say it, but I also catch myself.
Wasn't that just a California thing?
No, I don't think so.
No, rad? I thought that was like a way rad.
I think I went through a little phase where I said
you
rad.
used rad?
A long time ago. I thought that
was like a Dweezil and Moon Unit Zappa terminology.
That might have been shoot, man. When you're young,
80s. No, 80s. I don't know about that. Yeah, see, here's the thing, though. As Jay Mood says, I ride skateboards. I always use it. Skateboarders are allowed to speak their own language, just like snowboarders are too, by the way.
I used to skate, so that's
Did you?
Yeah. So that would make again. I was thinking when I was a teenager. So
the snowboarders in Salt Lake City talk like that too. And at the Olympics, like the really, really good snowboarders. Oh, of course, that's where they all come from too. That's where they all train.
I said I skate. I didn't say I was a good skater though. I was not.
Jorge Rico says, "Hey Chris, where are the signs to see on 7-on-7 drills?" Which, by the way, will be the first visuals of actual football that we get on Chuck Noll Field that would tell us the offensive line is not gelling in the right way. Look how down Jorge is before they even take a snap. Tell her, what are the signs that you would see that they're not gelling in the right way right off the bat?
During 7-on-7, you won't see any signs because they're not on the field.
Pal. That's why it's 7-on-7. They're the ones that stay off.
It is literally for only.
He meant 11-on-11, obviously.
Yeah,
I should have corrected that.
No, but even for 11-on-11, it's like the one thing that you're. Whenever it's full contact, even whenever they do put the pads on, they go full contact. Yes, the physicality and everything ups a bit. It's still not like it's a game. These guys are, yes, they're trying to. It's more about the process than it is about like trying to just barrel over the guy in front of you or anything like that. Because at the end of the day, these guys are still teammates. They want to keep everybody healthy. And it's not the same. The first time you're really going to get a chance to see the offensive line go full bore is going to be when they go to Jacksonville to play in the preseason game. So, yeah.
You know, when things start getting physical a handful of days into the process, even then you're not going to necessarily see, are they gelling? Are they not gelling?
Not that early, no.
Yeah, and we can say the same thing about preseason too. But here's the thing. Okay, because everyone remembers, and they're going to remember from now till the end of time, the perfect preseason.
Yeah,
okay?
I knew that you were bringing it up.
Well, you almost have to. Okay, yeah. and I get it. It was everything that they touched offensively turned to gold. And to his everlasting credit, the one person who was the most even-keeled about that was Kenny Pickett himself. Kenny was the one who kept saying, but vanilla defenses, but nobody's blitzing, but whatever. Kenny was the one issuing those warnings. He was the one that was trying to, not so much to tamp down the hype, but just to be real, which is kind of how Kenny is. Okay. It's one of the things that's made him, successful in life. He keeps it real.
Well, it's true because
sorry, just to finish, until you start seeing how these guys react to other teams trying to trick them and fool them and bring this guy around and bring that guy around, you're not going to know a thing.
Yeah, because when you are playing in the preseason, and please bookmark this, earmark this, whatever you got to do, when teams are playing each other in the preseason, they are not game planning against each other. It is literally them taking some of the things that they are doing in practice and doing in training camp and trying to put it into a stadium environment and seeing if it can work or just try to execute those plays against a team that's not them in a game-like environment, the closest thing you can possibly get. If they're lining up against the Bills like they did, I think, in that same preseason, or if not a preseason, another preseason, which they played really well against the Bills, obviously a very, very good team that had some of their starters on there. The Bills weren't going in there and being like, okay, we got to do this, this, and this to neutralize their run game, to neutralize their receivers, to put pressure on Kenny Pickett. They are going in there with the same mentality. We're going to go in there. We're going to try to execute cover three as often as we can on third down, because that's what we need to work on right now. Or we're going to try to run a whole lot more man coverage than we will throughout the season, because we need to see where we are with our corners and man coverage or whatever else. It's like in spring training when certain hitters go up to the plate, they're working on specific things, not necessarily game planning against that particular pitcher, and vice versa. It's different. It's not game planning for your opponent. No. It's trying to work on your own process.
I like this from Adam Renninger. He says, I hope Arthur Smith doesn't abandon the pull/trap blocking scheme for all the zone stuff. And Adam's referring to the wide zone blocking scheme that is Arthur's preference. Tackles can pull too. One of the things that you'd like to see, maybe not right out of the chute, but over time, when you invest with the draft capital that the Steelers have in this offensive line, but in particular in these tackles, and the size and the athleticism and the non-coachable traits that they were just born with, God made them tackles, okay? And you're not utilizing it. You're missing out on something here. Like, those tackles are capable of doing a lot, but with both Broderick Jones and Troy Fautanu, you've got different reasons why you need to lay a foundation first. Brod needs to, get back to being his best self. He needs to get back to being comfortable on the left side. And Troy has 55 total snaps all in one game in Denver. So it's going to be, none of this is going to be, we're not going to be talking about when, by the time, let's say we fly to Ireland, we're not going to be saying, wow, the offensive line has been this awesome, pleasant surprise and they're ready for, no, it's not going to happen like that.
Yeah. But also another thing to remember when it comes to any offensive coordinator, any playbook, any offensive system, yes, you have everything that's kind of the core principle of how you want to run the football, but you have to have the ability to throw change-ups in there. You have to, and the Ravens actually did this very, very well against the Steelers in that 299 game. They went, for a certain extent of that, they were doing nothing but gap, and the Steelers started picking up on it, slowing it down. Then they went out for the next series and were like, all right, now we're going to go all wide zone on them. And it was a perfect changeup, because then the Steelers had to readjust. And then once the Steelers adjusted back to that, they went back to the gap stuff, and they just always stayed one step ahead. So you have to have those other things in the playbook. But what you can do is you can have some different variations that are like one thing that they do really well is they have a play in there, and they've had it for a while, and they had it last year too. It's called crunch, where you take a trap block and a wham block, and it's both executed at the same time, and it works against really, really aggressive defensive fronts. And that's a nice little changeup that you can throw in there when they are trying to either get after your run game or possibly get after the quarterback. And actually, one of the runs that Cordell Patterson rattled off in that Indianapolis game was on the play that I was just talking about. So
the hot knife through butter game.
David says we need a chalk talk on the 299 game. Dude, I did 3 of them on that 299 game.
David, breaking our hearts.
It's in the playlist on the same YouTube channel. So if you want to go watch after the show's over, you can go.
Breaking our hearts, I say. The Dumpster Chickens comes in and says, do any of the extraneous, I'm not sure if that's the right word for that, but I know what he's saying. The extra camp wide receivers have a chance. Rock Taylor, Brandon Johnson, Keyshawn Williams, Lance McCutcheon is in. You know, there's more than that, actually. There are. There's a lot of wide receivers in the fold. Yeah. And my feel on this is, first off, how many are making the team? Is it 6?
I think it's 5.
You think it's 5? Okay. What if a 6th can be classified as a special teams, purely special teams? Yeah. All right. So if it's 5, it's DK Metcalf, it's Calvin Austin, it's Roman Wilson. It's help me out with the 4th. The 4th guy is the
Robert Woods.
Robert Woods is the one I was thinking of here.
Skoranek.
So that's 4. Ben Skoranek is 5. So no.
Yeah.
No. And if you bring in WR2, oh wait, you didn't even mention Scotty Miller. That's another one I'm forgetting.
Well, Scotty Miller would be WR6, but then if you do bring in whoever WR2 is, you can put whatever name you want right there. You're talking about DK Metcalf, WR2, Calvin Austin, Roman Wilson, Ben Skoranek. Like Robert Woods doesn't even make the roster at that point.
Okay, Skoranek's on the team.
Skoranek is. That's why I'm always including him.
Okay, as long as I would have been terrified if we weren't on the same page with that one.
2-year contract. He's on the team.
I mean, well, Patterson had a 2. Oh, Patterson's still here. Maybe I shouldn't use that here. Yeah, Dwight Jefferson says Dirtbag's number 6. That's Skoranek for anybody who doesn't know.
No, Skoranek is number 5.
He's 5 now. He'll be 6 when WR2 comes in.
No, he'll move up to 5, and Robert Woods will be the one cut. Skoranek's not going anywhere. If they only keep 5 receivers,
Woods gets cut. Yeah,
I mean,
at that when it's laid out in front of you.
Yeah, because at that point, do you really need Robert Woods? Because you have Calvin Austin and Roman Wilson both operate out of the slot.
No.
Because
respectfully, no.
Yeah, because like if you whether it's Gabe Davis or Juwan Jennings, I'll use those 2 guys. They're both outside guys primarily. They're going to help take the top off defenses. They can both contribute in the run game. And then your primary slot guys are going to be either Calvin Austin or Roman Wilson. They're not going anywhere. And then again, Ben Skoranek's on a 2-year contract. He's not going anywhere. So unless you keep 6 receivers, then it would be between Robert Woods and Scotty Miller. Now, all of that is assuming that all of those guys are healthy coming out of training camp.
Mike asks here, this is another business question about DK Pittsburgh Sports. Who all is going to Stockholm and Dublin from your team? Dublin, you're looking at them, plural. Chris and I will both be over there. Chris, I think you said you're going over earlier in the week, right? A little bit earlier, like a couple days in the event that the head coach does something intelligent and takes the team earlier.
Right. I'm flying over Tuesday night for Wednesday morning in Dublin. I think I land in Dublin at like 11 a.m. Local time there. But I mean, even if the Steelers don't go early, I've already got 2 writing ideas for being over there because I'm pretty sure the Vikings are going to go
they don't
over
need
early.
to hear your whole budget, dude. So
but that's what
aren't they there? The Vikings are there anyway, right?
No,
they play before or after?
They play in London after. Dublin is after. So they go Dublin to London.
Boy, that's smart.
It really is.
And then the Steelers are going to show up there on Friday evening. Like, I'm getting there. I'm getting there on Thursday as best as I can recall. Stockholm, Taylor is obviously going. That'll be Penguins versus Predators. 2 games in Stockholm, Sweden.
That's cool.
At the Avicii Arena. And I am undecided on that one. And I'm going to base that. God, this is going to sound so tacky, but I'm going to base that on whether or not the Steelers are any good. Okay, I'm sorry to say that, but if the Steelers stink, what am I doing hanging around here?
Yeah.
The Penguins, that those games, the Penguins games in Sweden, are in late November. So we will have a pretty good idea as to whether or not the Steelers are going anywhere or not. If they're going nowhere, what am I doing staying here? We can, get extra coverage out of hopefully something that, maybe the Penguins games will matter. Danny says, sounds like a fan. And it's actually the exact opposite, dude. I'm going where the best material is. It's as simple as that. That there's nothing to overthink here.
Yeah.
With this stuff, that's where the best material is. It's polar opposite of what you're saying there. Here, Dave Slack says that Chris just wants to get to the Temple Bar. I don't know what that is, and I've been to Dublin.
I don't either, but I'm sure it's somewhere in Dublin. But yeah, I will be. No, I mean, you're going to be in Dublin, and I'm not working 24 hours a day. I will be hitting up some of the sites, including the Guinness Brewery and the Jameson Distillery. Those are on my list.
Dumpster Chicken says you're not going, DK. The Steelers won't stink. Well, then.
Go
ahead and book the flight for me. Black and Gold Goggles says, DK, if the players have expressed how hard the travel schedule affected their play, why is the organization so against going over early? Is it cost? Okay. First of all, it's not the organization that's the problem here. It's the head coach. This is his call. He'll tell you the same thing. There's no variance to this. There were some things about the way the Steelers traveled to London that were lousy, that weren't just going over late. It was also that they left right away, which was not great. That's something that's been learned by a lot of professional sports teams late. Mike Sullivan, the former, obviously, coach of the Penguins, was telling me a couple of years ago that one of the things that the Penguins tried to do to change their travel schedule is that when they now finish in the West Coast somewhere or Western Canada, they don't do the suicide run back to Pittsburgh. Mm-hmm. They'll stay and they let the players rest and recover. Then they get on the plane the next day, and it allows them to adjust more easily to that. The whole dreaded first home game after the road trip that everybody talks about in the NHL. Yeah. Well, in the NFL, and as applies to specifically to traveling to Europe, this was a big mistake. And my understanding is that move, the leaving right away, was based on cost, which is lousy and not a great reflection of all of that would point to Art Rooney, obviously. Mm-hmm. But going over, that's a practice decision. And that's Tomlin.
Yeah, and listen, they don't have any reason to rush back this time because their bye week is
Take your time. But it's another hotel night for 120 people in an expensive place that's jammed up, and I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's a legitimate thing where if they literally go right back straight to Pittsburgh after they're done playing in Dublin, like if the sun doesn't even set and they're in the air going back across the pond, like that's probably a mistake.
Yeah, I mean, Chris Dolnack says red-eye flights are draining. We made one last week. It wasn't the end of the world. The Seattle, it's not the same as Europe, but it's still 5 hours in the air. I think Eric says, I think Rooney and cost is the reason. Well, you're just giving an opinion here. I mean, I'm trying to share with you actual information. I mean, no offense. I think this. I mean, I just said that. So it's Tomlin when it comes to the practices. The front end is absolutely 100% about Tomlin. I was with these guys in London. I'm not guessing at this. Let's see what else we got here. Is there a holdup, asks David, on signing free safety in WR2 due to the uncertainty with the TJ Watt contract potentially?
No, the TJ Watt contract is completely separate from any potential additions to the roster. The TJ contract, I think there's a lot, especially now that the Jalen Ramsey contract details came out, and it turns out it gave the Steelers even more cap space than people were expecting. According to SpotTrack, the Steelers are at like $25 million in cap space right now, which is a lot for this time of year. But the TJ contract, if anything, can help create even more cap space. So this isn't a situation where you need the TJ contract to get done by a certain time so that you know whether you can or cannot add a WR2 and or free safety. If they add a free safety, it's not going to be a high dollar one. And if they add Gabe Davis, that's not going to be an expensive signing. And if they add even Juwan Jennings or Romeo Dobbs, you're going to be giving up more value in terms of assets to acquire those players than you will in what you pay them in terms of a cap hit in 2025. So no, the two are not linked. The TJ contract negotiation is separate from everything else.
And TJ's going to get signed.
Yes.
You haven't heard that here before. Let's take one more today. And it's coming. Here it is. Captain Crunch says, is training camp when Jonnu Smith and Jalen Ramsey will have their media day? That's going to be up to them. That's going to be up to the media relations staff. Reporting day is a week from today. My guess is that there's going to be an awareness. This is a pretty sharp staff that the Steelers have, that neither Jonnu nor Jalen has yet spoken at all with any Pittsburgh reporter. Actually, any reporter anywhere, to my knowledge. Since the
No, not a reporter, but I think the only thing that Jono did a podcast. But
I'm talking about like that. There's a big difference between that and working with the media. In the past, when there's been a player who has been signed or added to the roster, they will make sure that player stops at the top of the steps to get into the vernacular, because then they go down the steps and then they're in the dorms and then we've lost them. Okay, we the vultures at the top of the steps. So that's how that goes. I am not only expecting both of those players to be available, but I'm looking forward to it. I want to hear from them if they've been given any indication. I don't know how this wouldn't be the first question for either guy. What their roles are.
Yeah. No, it is interesting to see what they say, and if they be like, "Oh, you're just going to have to wait and see on the practice field," or whatever. And that is the perfect setting to do it, because you literally can say you'll just have to wait and see what happens in the practice field, because everybody can watch practice. At this point, it would kind of. We're a week away from players reporting. Typically, they don't have a press conference that close to training camp. So yes, I would say that training camp will be the first time that we get to ask Jonnu and Jalen both questions.
Guys, when we come back, we're going to take care of a little bit of business here on the Double Shot Show. Florida Dave pops in late with a $10 contribution, and that's appreciated. Unfortunately, he says, I'm super late to the show. Did you answer the J1Q from this morning here today? I'm sorry, Dave. I don't know what question you're referencing here. I know you're obviously J1Q is what I call the second half of the Daily Shot, the morning podcast, but I just don't know if you can get back to me on this, I'll put you up on the screen. Appreciate the contribution. Boston Walker came in as a new member today. So did Paint Coach. Had a nice day for memberships. Easy did that as well. Carrie's always good for the one. Frank came in with 5. Master of Music, which I thought was you.
Oh, it's definitely not me.
Okay, comes in as a new member as well. Matthew Bunk's been with us for 26 months.
That's awesome.
All right, a while about the way YouTube says these things, because this is all automated by YouTube, right? These members for 26 months things.
Yeah.
You look at that and it sounds like the only thing I've ever heard in 26 months is a prison sentence.
Yeah, because it's not even like what you would describe for a child that's under 2 years old, because it's always they're 19 months old or they're
This is for prison sentences. Oh, he's serving 26 months. Oh, but did he serve with good behavior, or so Matthew Bunk's been stuck with us like Rorschach and Watchmen. I'm not locked in here with you. You're locked in here with me. Awesome. If you haven't read Watchmen, stop everything that you're doing and read Watchmen. Don't go see the movie. Don't just go read Watchmen. It's the greatest thing that's ever been produced in any media form by anybody. We will have another one of these programs for you tomorrow, but I do want to share with you in advance that the times of the shows next week are going to be different, because we have jobs to do in terms of covering these players and interviewing them in Latrobe. So, like, for example, next Wednesday, we're going to have a show at the regular time. I can tell you that in advance. Okay, because the reporting date stuff happens for the most part in the morning. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, whatever. Okay, all that stuff. We're gonna be figuring it out because we got to do practices. We got to watch the practices. Players come back through the end zones. We got to interview them there. We got to find a place to record and all that other stuff. So that there will be a show.
Mm-hmm.
There will be a show, but it's not going to be necessarily when you're used to seeing it. So I'm going to check one more time on Dave here to see if he ever came back.
He's on the screen.
Oh, here he is. Yeah. Oh, he says you said you had a lot of response to the J1Q person, but you'd let him have the last word. You left me. Oh, I don't even remember what it was, Dave. I'm sorry. Today's J1Q. I'm doing a lot of these shows now. I just don't remember. Oh, the thing. I know what you're talking about. No, I'm not responding to that. No. And the reason for that is, I promised that I would give him last word. So what am I going to do? Go back on my word and the next time I'm on? No, he gets the last word. He wins the argument, the end. So, all right, guys. No. What's she say? Oh, hey, look, 2019 for the memberships. We're back over 2,000. We're back on our path toward 3,000. We had somebody stop in here a little bit ago earlier today say, hey, I'm just about to become a member. So we're counting it as 2019.5.
Sounds good, man. I'm glad we're back above the 2,000 mark.
Exactly. All right, guys. Well, we will see you tomorrow.